Hi, I'm Rich Colgard, publisher of Forbes. Welcome to Future Tech, a look into the 2 to 5 year future of technology where fortunes will be made and lost. Two major trends in information technology these days are cloud computing and open source software development. Both offer the promise of significant cost reduction and faster business model evolution. Even non-geeks must take the time to learn about these capabilities. Your future business success may depend on it. But can cloud and open source really live up to their hype? And what about security? Are they good enough to stop cyber attacks? Forbes' Kim McNicholas recently discussed these important questions with Brian Stevens, the Chief Technology Officer of open source pioneer and leader Red Hat.
One of the important things with companies is that they really look at the next 2 to 5 years. They're always focused on quarter to quarter to quarter.
Right.
Or 10 years out, but there's this really important time frame, 2 to 5 years,
right,
which is just around the corner.
I think that anybody looks at it 10 years out is probably wrong. They probably think they're going to understand where the industry is going to be 10 years out, or where the competitors are going to be, or what new companies are going to be. And
they just need some sort of target.
Yeah, it's great to say you have a target, but I wouldn't believe in a plan that was 10 years out. I think 2 to 5 years is the right framing, but I think instead of companies designing that inwardly, is figure out where your customers need to be 2 to 5 years out.
So where are they going to be?
I hate to say it, but embracing the cloud right now.
Well, they are already.
The cloud,
for the most part.
They are and they aren't. I mean,
what percentage do you think actually are and aren't?
Oh, fraction, a small fraction.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's surprising.
Absolutely.
With how many cloud service providers are out there?
Right now, it's too difficult to use a public cloud, quite honestly, because it's really a whole different model from how enterprises do things today, how they develop their software, how they manage their software stacks, how they deal with things like patching and configuration and performance monitoring. So what happens is, if they want to take advantage of a public cloud, for the applications they want to use on the public cloud, they have to do things entirely differently. But yet they still have this huge legacy inside.
So what does that mean for Red Hat in the next 2 to 5 years?
The best thing is it means that it gives us it buys time. And that what it means is
I don't think there is a lot of time.
There's not a lot of...
I think time is up.
There's not a lot of time if you haven't gotten started. I agree with that. But there's plenty of time to transform an industry that I think needs to be transformed, if you will. And I think the next 10 years is, how do we re-architect? It's an architectural transformation, not just swapping out servers, but how do we re-architect them such that they can build on-premise cloud solutions, but then still be able to, just like electricity, consume cloud services from IBM and Google and Amazon, just like plugging a light into a wall.
So, what challenges do you face in getting that done?
Well, to be honest, we're painting a picture on the best canvas, which is open source, because the millions of lines of code and projects that are out there. It's not just Red Hat that's has this mission to make the public cloud powered by open source and consumable. It's really just time and software models. A lot's been around security. It's all going to build off the security model that we built with the NSA. The biggest issue is now that when enterprises put that application on that public cloud, that application's running on the same piece of physical hardware as competitors' technology, as competitors' applications. And that's very new for an enterprise customer to actually run. They don't even put 2 of their own applications on the same physical hardware, let alone with their competitors, or let alone a hacker.
Open source has been chugging along and chugging along and chugging along. I mean, at what point do we say, it's there?
Well, because...
Should we say 10 years out, and then that's one of those targets that you mentioned earlier?
We've had, right. And then we're done. Then I got to pick something else. I mean, because it's
7 to be safe.
Open source isn't cool anymore. We've had 34 straight quarters of revenue growth based around open source. To us, it's just a development model today. It's not a differentiator. It's really just the way to develop. It's the best way to develop software on the planet these days. 2,
3, 4, 5, 7 years out?
Somewhere in that 2 to 5 range.
Oh, it is the next 2 to 5 years.
I think it is. I think we already look what happened to Sun's business. If anybody would have told you 6 or 7 years ago that Sun would be dead, you wouldn't believe it. And their business was killed by open source and Intel. And so we fully expect the same thing's going to happen in other areas of proprietary software. It won't take 10 years.